Okay, we're going to get started now, Chevra. Welcome, everybody. I know a few of our regulars are, Baruch Hashem, watching the chasana of our one of our participants, one of our very special friends, Elisheva Zucker, just got married. I was watching on YouTube in, I think in Muncie. And she's now, I guess, Elisheva Weinberg. And we wish her tremendous mazel tov. And we wish we could all be there, but obviously in the times that we live in, things are strange and things are a little crazy. So I don't even know if her family was able to go. But Baruch Hashem, what a beautiful situation. We're so happy for her. So I know a few people are watching, are participating in that chasna through YouTube Live and Zoom. L'chaim. So we'll dedicate this shiur firstly to the chassan and kala. They should only see bracha and mazel and shalom bayis, and all the shefa and brachas from Hashem should fill their house and their whole lives. Does anyone else have a reason to dedicate today's learning? Speak now if you would like to. Le'ilu nishmas, anybody? Maybe? Okay. Let's say that our shiur today also is the Le'ilu nishmas Brona Chava Freda Bas Meir, who is a close person to some of us, and her neshama should have an aliyah from all the learning that we do, and a few others, but I don't have them written down. Okay, let's go.
So Rabbi, on that note, I've been thinking about that a lot recently.
Yeah.
And actually, in a way, everything going on is kind of a reminder of Shavuot as well, which is then kind of the unknown hidden festival, and so in terms of other things to be grateful for, to dedicate this to,
Yeah.
is it's for the all the gifts that Hashem gives us, and keeping us all safe, and no more than any time we realize now how much we're in His hands,
Yeah.
and we have to be grateful for the gifts we have.
Amen. Okay, beautiful dedication, Alan. Shkoyach. Okay, so with that, we'll get started. So we're going to finish, Bezras Hashem, this Torah number 14 today. And we really actually finished the main body of the Torah. What we're going to see now today is a bunch of things which in the Likutei Moharan are called Shaykh Le'el, meaning they have to do with what we already learned. They're either new things that Rabbi Nachman says based on everything that we saw already, or it's going to be new things that Reb Nosson says based on what Reb Nachman said, that relate to the concept. And I'm going to say that we don't even need to do a review of what we learned in this Torah, because the first part of this last section basically does its own review of the concepts that we learned. I just would like to run one thing by you guys to think about. And I'm just admitting people to the Zoom here, 1 second. What I would like to run by you all to think about, even though we're going to go through and explain the steps of this Torah in what Rabbi Nachman wrote over here, I want everyone to think about the following concept. I like to be able to take something when I finish a Torah in Likutei Moharan, something that I can take with me from that Torah that's going to stick with me. That's just a big picture way of viewing this Torah. Because as we know, the Torahs in Likutei Moharan are very complicated and long and difficult, and there's many steps, right? But I like to find something that I can attach to, that I can remember this Torah by. One or two things that really encapsulate the main purpose of this particular Torah. So with this one, happens to be that if you look at the very, very beginning of this Torah, it says, Lahamshich shalom ba'olam, to draw down peace into the world. We have to raise up the yirah of Hashem to its source, which is in kavod, honor. And I really think that is actually a good distillation of this whole Torah. But the main thing is living with peace. Living with peace, I think, is the general message of this Torah. And living with peace means, first and foremost, peace, inner peace. A person has peace between them, their good side and their bad side, if we could say such a thing. Between their neshama and their guf, and their body, their soul and their body. Has peace between their good urge and their evil urge, their good inclination and evil inclination. When all those things are working together, and there's not a constant battle in a person feels a sense of ease, and feels a sense of emunah, and sees Hashem in the world. And that gives that person the ability to bring other people closer to Hashem. And when the person does that, then the other people also bring tremendous honor to Hashem, coming from far away. And it's that aspect that Rabbi Nachman said, that the main kavod for Hashem is when people come from a faraway place, away from Hashem, to being close to Hashem. Because when that happens, that's making peace in the world. How? Just like, think about yourself on an individual level. If we're constantly battling against our yetzer haras, and we're constantly battling against fears, and against anxieties, negativities, anger, when we're battling these desires for physicality, for money, when we're battling these things, we are not at peace. Life is difficult and painful when we're always looking for money, and always angry, and always afraid. Life is hard. I'm not at peace. I don't have a sense of emunah and connection to Hashem. But when I take that aspect of myself and I work on my problem with kavod, with honor, I work on my problem with money, I work on my problem with anger, and I take these parts of myself and I bring them close to Hashem, I'm creating peace. And when I help to bring people who are far away from Hashem, not a part of myself, but it's other people who are far away from Hashem. When I help to give Balei Tshuva a chance to come close to Hashem. When I help to give Gerim a chance to come close to Hashem. So I'm taking them out of that world of machlekes, of arguments and fights between themselves, aspects of themselves, between the way that the world should be. And we all come underneath the tachas kanfei hashchina, underneath the wings of the divine presence. And then we can start to live in peace and harmony. And this is everything in the world. Whenever people come close to Hashem, on an individual level, on a community level, on a world level, it brings peace into the world. And it elevates the honor of Hashem. Right? Imagine the beauty and the Kiddush Hashem that happens when someone comes from a bad place and comes and starts to all of a sudden live a life of emunah and tranquility and happiness. And they leave the falsities and the confusion of the world behind and start to see their lives clearly and start to see emunah clearly and turn into a beautiful person. What a Kiddush Hashem. How could you bring more honor to Hashem than when such a thing happens? Right? So this, I think, is the basis for the whole Torah. And if I would bring it into the realm of, certainly, every Breslover really says this, but of course we know that Rav Shalom Arush is the one who's really, really focused on teaching emunah in the world. And really, this is very connected to emunah. When I live my life in this way, I'm living with emunah. I'm seeing Hashem in front of me all the time. And I'm not upset about what happens to me during different times of my day. You can have emunah, you can have peace also within time. I can look at my whole day as one unit, and instead of being upset at things that happen, when I live with emunah, I see that the whole day, some things were difficult and some things were smooth, but they were all part of Hashem guiding me. Right? That's peace within time, the whole day. is one shtick of hashgacha pratis, one piece of Hashem guiding me through my life, right? It's also a type of peace when there's no machlokes, no difference between what's going on. And so, this is just the thing I want us to think about as we now go through these last parts of the Torah. And this is my personal strong connection to this Torah, is this concept of peace and emunah. And I think it's something to attach to remember all the concepts of this Torah. L'chaim. Okay, so we're starting on page 326 in the black one. That is L'chaim, Alan. And that is Ois Yud Aleph in the Hebrew, 14, Torah 14, point number 11. Zois HaTorah, Shayach al Psukim Elu. Says Rabbi Nachman that this Torah that I gave you over now, says Rabbi Nachman, is connected to these verses. The first one is, Toiv Hashem lakol, Verachamav al kol masav. Hashem is good for everybody, for everything, and He has mercy on all of His creations. So we're going to go through this a little bit fast because it's a little bit of review, and we're going to try and understand the whole Torah within these. A lot of words this class, I apologize, but we'll make it through. Toiv Hashem lakol. What does it mean that Hashem is good for everything? Zeh b'chinas tefillah. This is referring to tefillah. How so? Shema min b'Hashem. Tefillah, as we know, especially in Rabbi Nachman's teachings, is very connected to emunah. Tefillah means I believe in Hashem. That's why I'm davening to Hashem. Shekadosh Baruch Hu toiv lakol. That Hashem is good for everything. Anything I need comes from Hashem. Right? Hein l'rafua, hein l'parnasa, hein l'chol devarim. Whether you're talking about being healed from an illness, or whether we're talking about having a livelihood, parnasa, or whether anything else, everything comes from Hashem. Toiv Hashem lakol. Anything I need comes from Hashem. Kishema min kach. When a person believes like this, has emunah like this, you hear what I'm saying over here? Emunah and peace. Bevadai yeh ikar hishtadlusai basar kadosh baruch hu kujabrichu. For sure, then, that person's main efforts are going to be focused towards Hashem. V'lo yirdev achar tachbulas rabbis. It is not going to be a person that is going after all kinds of tachbulas, all kinds of schemes and plans and stressing out over all kinds of details. Because someone who doesn't have emunah in Hashem, this person has to go and do all kinds of tachbulas, all kinds of plans and schemes in the stuff they're looking for. So, you might have, let's just finish this paragraph, then we'll talk about it. For example, when a person needs a type of refuah, needs to be healed from an illness, this person is going to have to go and find every type of herb, every type of medicine, every type of treatment, you name it, they're going to be looking for it. They're going to be going to find it all. Right? And sometimes the herbs, the medicine that a person needs to be healed from, it's not available in his country even. Or the ones he can find are not good for his particular type of ailment. Right? So you'll find a person is going all over the place. Right now, in our own existence, we see that some people are traveling. I'm not judging here, by the way. I'm just pointing out the current situation, and we see this actually happening. That people are traveling to America to get the vaccine. I know people have traveled to America to get certain treatments, plasma treatments for COVID, or to get hydroxychloroquine, which is a medicine that people are not recommending over here, but they can get it over there. People are going all over the place to find these things. Some people are so afraid of health, or I guess of not having health, maybe, that they'll mamish be going crazy to find every type of herb, every type of remedy they can possibly find, and will spend hours and hours and days. This is like a whole ASIC, a whole life in and of itself, just trying to find different medicines, regular, natural, vitamins, herbs, you name it, right? A person can go crazy, right? Just trying to make sure they have every possible refuah. And so too with Parnasa. You could have some people who are involved in business, and they especially in business. Everyone has a job, but in business in particular, and they will go crazy. I know one person who literally works from 7 a.m. till 1 a.m. every day in business, and nonstop. And some people say to him, "Hey, listen, come on, you need to have a life. It's not all about business." So just like a person can spend their whole life looking for every type of health, medicine, herb, benefit, a person can do the same thing in business and spend their whole life doing this. Right? And not that there's, God forbid, anything wrong with having business and working to make money. I myself am involved in business. And not that there's anything wrong with looking for proper health products and for being a healthy person and taking care of yourself. But when a person, in the lashon of Rabbi Nachman, is making, what's his lashon here? Let's see over here. He says, Ki mi she'ein ma'amin b'Kadosh Baruch Hu tzarich lishtadel achar tachbulos rabos. The person goes and does all kinds of plans and schemes and everything, puts so much time into their own personal effort in this realm, they're not connecting to Hashem at all. Tov Hashem lakol, Hashem is good for everything, means someone who has strong emunah will put their main effort towards Hashem. Yeah, take your vitamins, be a healthy person, go to work, try to be a good business person and make money. But don't spend every waking moment stressing out and having anxiety and going crazy at all the things you have to do. Do a normal effort and have emunah and daven to Hashem and allow Hashem to fill you up with shefa, to fill you up with divine energy. Right? Sometimes if we're doing everything on our own and we're not balancing our efforts with tefillah and emunah in Hashem, we're blocking Hashem from actually giving us what we need. Because we're putting in so much effort, with so many tachbulos and thoughts and anxiety and everything, that it's ki'ilu, I'm saying that Hashem's not here to help me. Hashem can't help me. I have to do it. Right? And what does that mean? Whenever I say I have to do it, it's all up to me. It means that my kavod, the honor, I'm placing on myself, and I'm not placing on Hashem. Because I'm saying, if I don't do it, it's not happening. It's all about me. Right? So, raising up the kavod of Hashem and lowering our own kavod comes out in the level of emunah that we have in Hashem and the way we behave with regards to these things like health and like parnasa. Right? So he says, Ava HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tov lakol hamakos l'refuah. Hashem is good, can give anything a refuah. V'hu b'nimtza tamid. And he's always there. You don't have to go to a different country. Kamosha Kasuf, like the pasuk says, Mika Hashem Elokeinu b'chol kareinu elav. Who is like Hashem? Who's there for anybody that calls to him? V'yadeha tefillah zoicha l'shalom haklali. And it's through tefillah, we said, that we merit to have shalom haklali, universal peace. V'racham, like the pasuk says, v'rachamav al kol masav. The first part of the pasuk is Tov Hashem lakol. That's referring to tefillah and having emunah, that Hashem can give me everything I need. And the second part of the pasuk is v'rachamav al kol masav, that He has mercy on all of His works. Hainu, what does that mean? She'rachamei Hashem yisborach yismashech al habaruim. The mercy of Hashem will be drawn down onto His creations. V'chol habaruim yirachamu echad al chaveiroi. And then each one of the creations of Hashem will have mercy and behave mercifully towards one another. V'yeh shalom beineihem, and then there'll be peace between them. In other words, once I give up on it all being about me and saying that everything has to happen through my hands, and I make my normal efforts, and the rest of my effort is turned to Hashem in tefillah, Now I'm allowing that relationship with Hashem, and I'm allowing Hashem to bring down this spiritual energy that I need, to bring down shefa into the world, to bring down parnasa, to bring down refuah, and to bring down mercy on me. And I can draw that down into the world. And then I can behave with other people in the same way. And I can be merciful towards another person. And not angry and mean and upset and mad. I can have this relationship with a person. I can be open to people. Like the pasuk says, "V'gar zev im keves, v'namer im gedi." What's going to be when Mashiach comes, when we experience this on the ultimate level, that the wolf is going to lie down with the sheep, and the leopard with the goat. V'lo yarehu v'lo yashchisu, and they will not harm or destroy one another. Ki yesh shalom beinehem, because there will be peace between them. V'zeh v'racham av kol masav, and this is what it means that he has mercy on all of his creations. K'meish amar Chazal, kol hamerachim al habriyos merachamim alav min hashamayim. Like Chazal say, anyone who has mercy on the creations of Hashem, mercy will come down onto that person from Hashem. K'meish kasuv v'nasan lecha rachamim v'richamecha. Like the pasuk says, he will give you mercy and have mercy upon you. But once again, when I fix myself and my own personal inner peace, I draw peace into the world. And then I behave in a peaceful way with other people. And other people will behave in a peaceful way. And will be merciful towards one another. And will have this beautiful relationship. This is shalom haklali. And this is how it happens. V'achar kach, afterwards in this Torah, mefarish pasuk, eich yizkel tefillah. Rabbeinu explained the pasuk, how do we merit to get to this level of tefillah? Ayedei shalom bayis, yehei shalom ba'atzamav. It's through shalom bayis, it's through peace in the home that one achieves inner peace. Bein gufay v'nafshay. And what's inner peace is between a person's body and their soul. V'zeh yoiducha kol ma'asecha. This is what it means. Yoiducha kol ma'asecha. That they know, all your ma'asecha, all your works will praise you. Zeh b'chinas asiya, b'chinas guf. This is referring to the body. V'chasidecha yavarchucha, chasidecha zeh b'chinas nefesh. This is referring to the neshama. K'moshe kasav, goimel nafshay ish chesed. The nefesh is connected to, the neshama is connected to this concept of chesed. Meaning what? Once again, how do I merit this inner peace? So, the only way that I can pray, that I can connect to Hashem in this way, is if I have peace in my home, and I have peace between my body and soul. Unfortunately, sometimes we see families that are in a very bad situation. And it's unfortunate that I currently am, have some acquaintances that are going through divorce and are in a very bad situation. And it's so all-consuming to live with this type of pain. And to live with this type of upheaval in the house, and the tension, and the negativity, and it's painful, and unnerving, and tense. When a person's in that situation, it's very hard to daven, to pray. When we make a real strong effort to have shalom bayis, to have peace in our house, with ourselves, it could be a roommate, could be a husband, most often husband and wife relationship. When we make shalom in our home, it gives us the ability to make shalom in ourselves, to work, to have the mind space and the neshama space, to be able to think about myself, and to be able to work on the shalom between my body and my soul, and to live in this realm where all of my capacities are directed towards Hashem and emunah. And now when I'm on that level, now I can pray with a clear mind towards Hashem. Like sometimes I like to say, the Holy Nesiva Shalom says, there's nothing more powerful in the entire universe than when a Jew sits with a clear mind. A Jew with a clear mind is limitless and can accomplish anything. And afterwards he explained the pasuk, Eich Yizkei L'Shalom Bayis. We're going in reverse order here, by the way. in this whole explanation over here. How do you get to shalom bayis? That's through raising up the honor of Hashem to its root in yirah, in fear, awe of Hashem. Hanikroim gevuros, which is called gevuros. V'zehu kavod malchuscha yemeru. The honor of your kingdom I will say over. Sheyizgale kavoidai v'yisale l'shorasha. I will reveal the honor of Hashem and raise it up to its source. V'zehu u'gevorascha yidaberu. And this is that your gevuras I will speak about. Gevura ze bechinas yirah. That refers to yirah. Second. That refers to yirah. Yiras Hashem. Kamei amru chachamim zikron levarei Chazal say v'Elokim asa sheyiru milfanav. That Hashem made it. Does it? Hashem does these things in order so that we should have awe of Him. Elu ra'amim. These are referring to thunder. Ukasiv ra'am gevurosav mi is bainan. And ra'am, thunder refers to gevura, which is yirah. So I'm not going to explain that too much in depth because there's a lot of psukim that we already saw. But this is the concept, that building step by step, first raising up the honor of Hashem, gives me the ability, when I reveal the honor of Hashem, and I'm a person that honors those who have yiras Hashem. I honor holy people, and I don't take away their honor. I don't take honor for myself. That's how I'm able to experience shalom bayis. I don't know if anyone here has ever experienced an argument in their house. A husband and wife. Does it ever happen that a husband and wife get in an argument? Okay, sometimes it happens. And almost always, when such an argument gets out of control, I know we probably spoke about this, but it's good to say it again. Almost always, when an argument builds and gets stronger and stronger, there's usually something that triggers it at the beginning, something in reality, right? But almost always, when it starts to grow and become a serious argument, it almost always has to do with kavod, with honor. Because someone said something, and that one thing really hurt someone's feelings, really hurt the other person's feelings. And when their feelings get hurt, their protector starts to rise up. And their own honor starts to be built up. And now they're going to fight back and say something hurtful to the other person in order to just take care of their own personal self, right? To not be belittled again. But it's because my honor was injured with what that other person said. And then the other person is going to come back again because the same thing's happening to them. It's all about a person's individual honor. A fight between a husband and wife, a fight between friends, a fight between roommates, family members, whatever it is. There may be a reason at the beginning. And if we would not engage our own personal sense of honor and ego, we could take care of it so nicely. But inevitably, someone gets hurt and they fight back. Then the other person gets hurt and they fight back. All because of honor. So Rabbi Nachman's pointing out here so clearly, so obviously, if I give the honor to Hashem and I'm not so worried about my own honor, I will live in shalom bayis. I will be able to have peace in my house. And when my wife says to me, you didn't put that stuff away. Why didn't you put that stuff away? Instead of being offended and taking it personally and saying, what do you mean, why didn't put that stuff away? What about all the other things I did today for the family? Right? And getting all defensive. Right? Say, oh, you know what? You're right. I didn't do that. I'm sorry. I'm going to put them away. Or I'm sorry, I can't. I have to go right now. I will really put them away later. Not with anger, not with ego, not defensively. Okay, well, which house do you want to live in? Now you're going to be a person with peace, and you're going to be a person who can move through the rest of the day in a beautiful way, and daven to Hashem, and connect, and have all the shefa. So that's the way that honor connects to shalom bayis, in my humble opinion. Misimen Yud Beis Ad Kan L'Shonei. Ad Kan L'Shonei, Zichron Levracha. So up until now, we've been saying over the words of Rabbi Nachman. Starting now at letter Yud Beis, number 12, on page 330 in this, we're now going to hear the words of Rabbi Nassim explaining this Torah. V'zeh b'chinas mitzvahs ner Chanukah. This is also connected to the mitzvah of lighting the Chanukah menorah. Shemitzvasa lahadlik samuch lapesach habayis, because the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah is to light it by the door of the house. I know here in Chutz La'aretz everybody lights it in their window, but really the proper mitzvah is, and the way they do it in Eretz Yisrael, is to light the menorah right by the doorway going into the house. Ki hadlachas haner hu bechinas ha'aras kavod, because illuminating a light, is connected to the concept of illuminating the honor of Hashem. Bechinas, how do we see that? Like the pasuk says, "V'ha'aretz he'ira michvoidai." The honor of Hashem illuminates the world. So lighting up the Hanukkah candles is really lighting up the honor of Hashem in the darkness, right? We could talk for hours about Hanukkah and the amazing mitzvah, right? And how it's only in that darkest of times, right, when there's the least daylight in the world, and when in the Hanukkah story it was the many into the hands of the few. Right? It was down to a small, tiny group of Jews who had to fight against the whole Hellenistic Greek army and everything, right? And it looked like there was no way out. It was a dark moment. In that darkness, the illumination represents the honor of Hashem. And that's why we do it in the nighttime. That's why it has to be in the darkest time of the year. That's why the candles have to be low to the ground, right? This is what it's all about. Illuminating the honor of Hashem. Valkein, mitzvasa lahadlik samuch lapesach habayis. Therefore, it has to be at the entrance to the house, the doorway of the house. Da pischei elah, referring to what? Not just the regular door to the house, but the supernal door, referring to the entrance to the realm of holiness. How do we see such a thing? Which is bechinas yirah. The entrance into holiness is yirah, is awe of Hashem, fear and awe of Hashem. Hainu, lahachzir hakavod l'shorashay. That means raising up the honor of Hashem to its root. Dahainu liyirah. Why is yirah the doorway, the opening? Because like we say, there's a few ma'amarim that we say, but Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem is one of them, right? Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem. The entrance to wisdom, the first part of wisdom, is yirah. There's another thing we say that yirah is the first step of all avodah. Is yirah, right? So yirah is first. That's the doorway in. So that's why the Ner Chanukah, the light refers to kavod, and the doorway refers to yirah, bringing the light of Hashem, the honor of Hashem, to yirah. And when does the kavod go up? When does the kavod raised up? When is Hashem's honor raised up? When people do tshuva. That's when the honor of Hashem is illuminated and raised up. When people do tshuva. And when we bring balei tshuva and we bring gerim, that's when we do tshuva. That's when we raise up the honor of Hashem. Wait, Lori Cohn, can you hear me? Did I see you in Miriam's bookstore yesterday, 2 days ago? I think so. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Okay.
Yes, it was me. Oh.
I did. I'm realizing now because you're wearing a mask. Yes.
Your son
yes. You were wearing a mask, and I didn't quite recognize. Okay, now I see.
That's why we shouldn't wear masks.
That's right. Okay. Soon, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
Okay, so making tshuva and gerim and balei tshuva, bringing people from far away close to Hashem. That's the main honor of Hashem. V'zehu shezman hadlakas ner Chanukah shehu ha'aras hakav. And that's why the time for lighting ner Chanukah, meaning that the time where you raise up the honor of Hashem, hu mishas yetzias koichavim, it's at the time when the stars come out. Ad shetichle regel min hashuk. This is what the Shulchan Aruch says. The time for lighting Chanukah candles is the time when the stars come out until there's no more people walking in the shuk. Ad shetichle regel min hashuk. There's no more people outside in the public, really is what it means. Right? So how does this relate on a deeper level to the way we're understanding things over here? Yetzias hakoichavim. What does the stars coming out? What does that really... going on everything we just said, what does it mean the stars are coming out? This is referring to those people who help people to become righteous, who help the many people to become righteous like stars. Meaning, the Torah is telling us over here, Sefer Daniel is telling us, what's the metaphor for someone doing tshuva, someone becoming a holy person, is that their star is coming out. Their star is shining. That revelation of their holiness is like a beautiful star in the sky. And it's revealing light into the world. So that's why the time for Ner Chanukah, where we're raising up the honor of Hashem, is when the stars come out. When people become righteous. When people become holy and reveal their holiness in the world. When people change themselves. They make Baalei Tshuva and Gerim. That through that we illuminate the honor of Hashem and bring it back to its source in yirah. Then we merit to have peace and we nullify argument and fighting. So what does it mean we nullify argument and fighting? So until there's no more feet walking in the market. Hashuk hu mekoymes hachitzonim. So the shuk means places, outside places. Meaning negative outside places. Regel, ze bechina. So we said the positive side of peace is that there's no more fighting. There's no more arguments. There's no more lashon hara. There's no more debasing of other people. There's no more tearing people down with our words, right? So regel, ze bechinas nirgan mafred aleph. We said this before, that the pasuk says that there's such a person who through their whispers, they cause a separation between people, between husband and wife, between families, between friends and neighbors, by the terrible language that they use. Lashon hara, hate, negativity, they cause separations. God forbid. Hainu, balei lashon hara umachlekes. Who are these people? They're the people who say lashon hara and cause fights. Hahochin umeraglin umedabrin rechilus velashon hara v'oisin meriva machlekes ben adam lechaveroi ben ish leishtai. God forbid. These are the people. Now listen to these words. What's the word for gossip mongering? Is rechilus. And they're meraglin. Umedabkin, they're spying out and slandering. This word really means like to snoop and to be nosy and get information and then cause arguments between people. And they cause fights between friends and between husband and wife, God forbid. So this type of regel, this person who looks, right? What are the spies called that went to Eretz Yisrael, that brought a bad report about Eretz Yisrael? They're called the meraglin. The same word, regel. It means to be a spy, to focus on negativity, to focus on something that's negative, and then bring it out, and using that negative information to cause separation between people, God forbid. Bechinas v'loy ragal al l'shaynai. Like the pasuk says in Tehillim, a person who does not have slander on their lips, ragal al l'shaynai. This word, regel, doesn't only mean feet. It means to be a snoopy, slanderous busybody. I don't know, is that still a word? Right? You know, one of those people who's snoopy and goes around getting bad information about people and telling it to everyone else? Right? That kind of person. This kind of person causes machlekes, causes fights, causes separation, causes the opposite of peace. Regel. So the pasuk said, "Ad shetichle regel min hashuk." When do the Hanukkah candles light? When does the honor of Hashem burn and bring illumination into the world? It happens when the neshamas come out, when the stars shine, when people do tshuva and illuminate their holy souls, all the way to the point where there's no more people making lashon hara and causing fights and machlokes. This is the honor of Hashem in the world. This is the honor of Hashem in the world. This is why we have to light it by the doorway. To illuminate the honor of Hashem and to bring it to its root in yirah. Until we merit to illuminate the honor of Hashem and to end all machlokes and to stop people from making separations between husband and wife and friends. Vezehu ad shetich l'regel min hashuk. That's what it means, ad shetich l'regel min hashuk. She's batel balei lashon hora. There'll be no more people saying lashon hora. No more rechilus. No more slander. Asher ragal al l'shoinam, that have slander on their mouths. V'yisrabe hashalom ba'olam. Then there'll be beautiful peace in the world. V'yidei hashalom zoichin l'tefillah. And it's through the shalom that will merit to have tefillah, that will merit to have prayer. Then we merit to have universal peace. Shalom b'chol ha'olemus, in all of the universes. Vazai, kishezoichin l'shalom ha'klali, azai yizbata kol hamasu matan min olam. And then, check this out. Okay. Then, when we have perfect peace, there will be no more business in the world. No more masu matan, no more business. What does this mean? Kichol hamaso matan sheba'olam hu meheder hashalom. All business that takes place in the world is based on a lack of peace. How do we mean this? You can't be that the desire of the seller and the desire of the purchaser are equal. Right? By definition, in a certain sense. The person who's the salesperson in business wants to make money on their product and wants to make more money, as much as they can really, and still sell their product. Whereas the person who's the purchaser wants that product for as cheap as possible of a price. It's always, they're really against each other. Always. Theoretically. Right? Like, one wants to sell, one wants to buy. And if they had the same desire, if the seller just wanted to keep his product, right, then the buyer wouldn't buy it. And if the buyer didn't want it, to take it from him, then the seller wouldn't want to give it, then the seller couldn't sell anything. Right? And if they couldn't come to, and if there wasn't the tension of the buyer and the seller, right, then they could never come to a agreeable price. They're opposing forces, always, in a purchasing transaction, in different ways. Nimtza, shekol hamaso matan, v'hascheres, hu rak al yedei bechinas machlekes. It comes out that all business and all sales, purchasing, is all an aspect of machlekes, of argument. She'ein shalom bein haratzonis, that there's not peace between the two desires. It can happen. Sometimes you have a business person who, I got a friend who sells meat, kosher meat, and so sometimes he gives meat away to people, or he gives them at a very, very good price because the person is going through a hard time. They don't have enough money. And the person's a righteous person, so he gives sometimes free meat. Or he gives it cheap, right? But that's not business. That's tzedakah now. Right? Because he's doing tzedakah. If it was business though, ma'aseh matan, there's always that tension. V'zeh b'chinas, v'yihiriv ben roya mikne Avram v'roya mikne Lot. And this is an aspect. The pasuk says like this. Listen to this. There was an argument between the shepherds of the flock of Avram and the shepherds of the flock of Lot. V'hakna'ni az ba'aretz. Listen to this pasuk. So the argument between the two in business, right? The flocks of Avram and there was an argument between the shepherds of Avram and the shepherds of Lot. And then the pasuk says, like out of the middle of nowhere, V'hakanani az ba'aretz. And at that time, the Canaanite was on the land. Like it means nothing. All the commentaries ask, why is this being said over here? It doesn't make sense. So Kanani, zeh b'chinas soicher. Kanani is a word for soicher, for a merchant. K'moshe Perish Rashi al pasuk, like Rashi explains on the pasuk. Kanaan beyadai. Rashi tells us, and we understand this in other places also, that the name Canaan, the Canaani, means also merchant, a salesperson, a merchant. Hainu, so what does that mean? The pasuk now, read the pasuk again. There was an argument between the shepherds of Avram and between the shepherds of Lot. And the merchants were on the land at the time. Meaning, why is there arguments happening? Because there's business. Those things are interconnected. Right? Dahainu, al yedei bechinas riv machlekes. It's through the concept of fighting and arguing. Bechinas vehi riv, like the pasuk said, that there was an argument. Al yedei zev hakrani azbar. It's through this that there is still business happening in the world. Because if there was complete peace, 100% shalom, there would be no more business, no more masu matan. Al yedei zeh yesh sechiru masu matan ba'olam. Aval la'asid lavai. But in the future, when Mashiach comes, sheyeh shalom hamufla ba'olam. That's when there'll be this wondrous peace in the world. Wondrous peace in the world. Kamei shekasav, like the pasuk says, v'gar zev v'keves, like the animals are going to lie down together. Azai yizbatel hamasu matan. Then there's going to be no more business in the world. No more business. Kamei shekasav, like the pasuk says, what does the pasuk say in Zechariah is going to be when Mashiach comes? Veloy yiyeh kanani oid. There'll be no more Canaanite. There'll be no more merchant. When there's machlekes, fighting between the shepherds, the Canaani is in the land. The merchant is there. Business is still here. Because its essence is machlekes. But in the future, when the animals are lying down together and there's peace in the entire world, veloy yiyeh kanani oid. There's not going to be any more Canaanite, no more merchant, no more business. Because everything will be in 100% peace. This is also when we're explaining how this explanation of Hanukkah is encapsulating this entire Torah that we just learned. That it said, when does the honor of Hashem shine? When do we light the Hanukkah candles? When the stars come out? When people do tshuva? Until there's no more people walking around in the markets. Right? The honor of Hashem is going to be going till there's no one in the market anymore. There's no more business happening. There's no more masamatan. This is referring to the peace kavod that comes from bringing the honor back to Hashem. There's no more business happening. This is what it means. There will not be a single foot walking around in the market anymore. Through the peace, all business will be ended. Shaykh Leil, another Shaykh Leil. Lafiha kavod shemechabed yirah Hashem, and according to the level of honor that we honor those who fear Hashem. Kain Allah kavod l'sharasha. This we already said. Hichol zman shakavod hu begalus. As long as the honor of Hashem is in exile. Each person, according to their own personal circumstance. Kain hu mazalza b'yirah Hashem. If you're having a difficulty, if I'm having a difficulty with my own kavod, and I'm not giving, I'm like a bal gaiva, I'm having ego problems with my own kavod, I will be speaking badly about other holy people. Only when a person, how can you tell a person is really in check with their own kavod and is giving honor to Hashem? Because they speak about other holy people with honor. They don't take them down. They don't tear them down. So when you hear these people, there's a couple of people who have videos out there who call themselves rabbis, and they tear into these beautiful people, beautiful rabbis. There's one rabbi who they talk about who's just a special holy person from Lubavitch, an amazing rabbi, and these people say terrible things about him. And they call themselves rabbis. You hear what Rabbi Nachman said? Only a person who has a problem with their own honor will be speaking about other holy people and tearing them down and saying terrible things about them. It's mamish terrible. This thing that's going on, what I was just talking about, but the people who speak like this, is literally the complete opposite of everything we're learning here. Right? To be a person of peace, your own inner peace, and to give the honor to Hashem, and not worry about your own honor, not have to tear down other people's honor, right? This is what it means to be a person of emunah, a person of kedusha, of holiness. So, depending on the way we treat other holy people, you can see how a person's honor is. And each person, according to their tikkun of their own kavod. So too they will honor holy people, yirah Hashem. It's through the honor that they honor holy people, yirah Hashem. That is called raising the honor of Hashem back to its source. That's how we merit peace. I'm going to go until we finish today. We're almost done. But please bear with me because we're just at the very end of this whole Torah. This is what Chazal say. Oh, listen to this. Says the Gemara in Shabbos, someone who disgraces a Torah scholar, there's no healing. There's no healing for their sickness, for their ailment. Someone who disgraces a Talmud Chacham and makes fun of yirah Hashem, that means that they have a problem with their kavod, their honor. They have not brought their honor up to Hashem. Then they don't have any peace. And therefore there won't be a cure for their illness. Because all illness comes from machlokes, dispute, argument. That a person does not have peace in his own physical body. The body is not in balance. Different aspects of the person's physical makeup are not where they're supposed to be. Right? The yesodos, the foundations of the person, are not where they're supposed to be. They're not behaving with peace. In a proper blended, balanced way. That's when a chilas comes. In other words, when things are out of whack, right? A person who's living their life normally and they're healthy, everything's in balance, right? But when we get a fever, for example, things are out of check. There's bacteria is fighting, and therefore we have to produce. I'm making this up. I think it's correct, but I might be wrong. Okay, just saying. So we're producing like white blood cells, I think, and that's coming to attack, to help boost our immune system, and all of this stuff happening is causing a fever, and putting our whole existence out of whack because things aren't balanced. Right? And so too, everything that happens to us like this is happening like this. Right? When the heart is pumping smoothly in the regular way that it's supposed to go, everything goes smoothly. But what happens if the rhythm of the heart is not in peace? Right? All of a sudden, the blood isn't flowing the way it's supposed to. And then the body is going to be messed up somehow. What if it's the opposite? What if there's too much blood pressure? Right? There's not the right balance in there. The heart is the arteries are too narrow. Once again, I might be right or I might not be, but you're getting the picture. The arteries have become narrow, and so the blood is pushing through, but there's too much pressure. It's not flowing. It's not balanced the way it's supposed to be. The pressure is hitting up against those arteries. Right? It's all not being the opposite of smooth flowing shalom. Right? This is machlokes and pressure. That's what happens in all chilas. Valkein, when a person disgraces a Talmud Chacham and therefore makes a blemish in the shalom and a blemish in the honor of Hashem, Alkein, ein refuah lamachase. There's no cure for their illness. Because the main refuah for anybody, the main healing, comes through shalom, comes through peace. Bechinas shalom larachik ulakarev amar Hashem urafasiv. Says the pasuk, peace, peace, for both far and near, says Hashem, amar Hashem urafasiv. I will heal him. Says the pasuk. This is the pasuk in Yeshaya, that what's going to heal, what's going to be a healing for someone's ailment is shalom, is peace. So, if you are a person who's causing argument, causing strife, causing separation between people, you're not drawing onto yourself this holy peace and the ability to have a refuah for things you're causing things to fight against each other on the outside, then those things are going to fight against each other on the inside. Midah keneged midah. So that's another aspect. Gam be'es amiras haTorah. Also, at the time when this Torah was said, Hizki Rabbeinu, Rabbi Nachman said over, Zichron Levracha, Mamar Rabbi Zichron Levracha, Ein maspidin b'Chanukah. That Chazal say we can't make a hesped, a eulogy, during Chanukah. Ve'enu zoicher, ve'eni zoicher, ma sheperish. I don't remember what Rabbi Nachman said exactly, said Rabbi Nassan. But what I think it might have been, in my humble opinion, says Rabbi Nassan, Ki hesped hu b'shvil asaken histalkos hakavod. Why do we make a eulogy? What's a eulogy accomplishing? When a holy person has just passed away, there's a whole honor, a whole kavod that existed, a beautiful honor of Hashem. This person's existence was an honor to Hashem, right? Remember when we do tshuva and we become on that level, we are showing the honor of Hashem. So when this person passes away, that illumination, that person was like a candle. A person was like a star illuminating the kavod of Hashem, the honor of Hashem. So when they pass away, the hesped, the eulogy that we say, is sort of to kind of reshine that light, speak about that person's existence, to talk about the light that they shone into the world. That when a tzaddik left this world, a lot of honor left the world, real proper kavod. Because this person was helping many people to become closer to Hashem. And that's the main honor of Hashem, is when people come from far away closer to Him. Like Chazal say, Hespeda yakara dechaya or yakara deshachve. The Gemara asks, is a hesped, a eulogy, is it meant for the honor of the one who passed away or the honor of the living? Is it to honor the living or to honor the dead? Valkein b'Chanukah ein maspidim boy ki az meira kavod al yedei ner Chanukah. On Chanukah, if a person passed away and their light turned off in a certain sense, and that honor of Hashem is no longer being displayed in the world through them, you don't have to worry. You don't make a hesped. Why? Because the lights of Hashem are being turned on in every Jewish household. There's an influx of the honor of Hashem through the lights of Chanukah. So you don't have to make that hesped. Because that's what we are. When we come close to Hashem, and we help other people to come close to Hashem, we are shining the honor of Hashem and illuminating it into the world. La'el, the last small piece here, last small point. La'el, bezehu, v'lifnei kavod anava. We also say in Mishlei that before honor comes humility, humbleness. Kayedei anava, because through humility, zeichin lakavod. It's only through humility that we merit to have honor. Kamavoyer la'el, she'ikar his alus hakavod hu al yedei gerim u'balei tshuva sha'osin. The main honor comes when through converts and balei tshuva. V'zeh zoichin al yedei Torah chesed, and this only comes through Torah chesed, the Torah of kindness, which means learning Torah in order to give it over to other people, to help them to become closer to Hashem. V'la Torah efshar lizkois, and one cannot merit to acquire Torah that they could use to give over, ki im al yedei anava, except through humility. That's the only way we can acquire Torah. Kamavoyer le'el, as we explained earlier. Nimtza she'efshar lizkois lekavod dekedusha. We cannot merit to have this holy type of honor, ki im al yedei anava, except for through humility. V'zehu v'lifnei kavod anava, and this was what it means. The pasuk that says before kavod in Mishlei, before kavod comes humility. Yesoid ha'inyan chamisha devarim. It's the last paragraph. The foundation of this whole inyan is 5 things. Lahachzir hakavod leyirah, to return the honor of Hashem to its source in yirah and awe of Hashem. V'yirah el halev, and to bring that yirah to our heart, from our head to our heart, to exist in it in reality. V'shalom haklali, then the universal peace. V'shalom haprati, and then the personal, individual peace. Lahachzir b'nei adam b'tshuva, to bring people back to tshuva. Shezeh b'chinas im toitze yakar mizoilal. This is what it means to bring out the preciousness from the vial. Who tikkun keri, and this is also a tikkun for a man's nighttime emission. Asvan dedein, kasvan dedein. Yakar, preciousness, revealing the preciousness of someone's holy soul, is the same. Yakar is the same letters as keri. We'll leave that aside here, not to get too much into it. That's the end of the Torah. So, I think that there's been a lot of explanation about what it really means. Practically speaking, just a couple of quick things, and then if anyone wants to comment or ask questions, please go ahead. But there's a few places where I believe that we have the strong ability to affect positivity in the world and to shine the light of Hashem into the world. The obvious ones are to be a source to help people come close to Hashem, and doing it with humility. That means I don't go out and try to help people come close to Hashem because I have something to prove, or because I want to show them how smart I am, or I want to feel superior to them, so I'm going to try and start bringing them into the fold. I just want to help that person come closer to Hashem, period. In whatever way I can. What is the right way for them, not the right way for me. Right? This is the way that we can bring in the greatest honor of Hashem into the world. Other aspects that are so important are the concept of always being aware of our own personal shalom. Shalom Steinberg is everybody's personal shalom, but our own personal shalom. Meaning what? I should always be aware of what's going on in my own personal existence. Am I at peace? What does it mean, am I at peace? It means, am I fighting against myself all the time? Am I fighting against my anger? Am I fighting against my physical desires? Am I fighting against my ego? Why am I always at battle? And then I can go and talk to Hashem and start to understand myself better. I can do his boidedus and contemplate and discuss with Hashem, where do I need to make peace with myself? And when I make peace with myself, only from that perspective can I have a positive effect on other people. Because if I'm not at peace, then when I speak to other people, they will sense all of the falsehood that exists within me. Because when I'm not at peace with myself, everything is falsehood, everything is a lie. I'm not exuding my real self, because my honor forces me to cover up who I really am and put on a different face. My anger covers up who I really am. Everything is covered up, everything is hidden. But when I am at peace with myself, then I can actually be who I really am, and I can shine my own light to other people, as Rabbi Nachman said. Once we achieve this level of peace, and Hashem showers us with mercy and with shefa and everything, then we can go and do the same thing with other people. Right? But it's only when we do that. Another aspect to think about. Always being aware of and working on hisboidedus with our own personal inner peace. Right? Very, very important. And another point that I just want to make quickly, and I don't even know where to start with it, I'll just be perfectly honest, is that there's a shalom that has to exist between people. And that shalom is threatened, and the opposite happens when we speak in a way that is like lashon hara, mechilus, mafrid, that causes a separation between people. And when we do that, we create separations, we create anger, we create divisions, we create the opposite of peace and the opposite of achdus, the opposite of unity, the opposite of the oneness of Hashem. I know I don't have to tell anybody, but we live in a world now where so much opinion is expressed and so much opinion about other people is expressed. If you're on any type of social media, you'll see, you should try to avoid it, but you'll see how quickly things deteriorate. Someone can say something that they think, and all of a sudden can be attacked from every side, right? Or someone can go and develop a platform where they can just use their platform to speak constant negativity, constantly spewing lashon hara, hate, anger, causing separation, non-stop. It's all over the place. What if we made it our business to not get involved in these types of discussions? What if we made it our business to promote unity and peace? And believe it or not, you can do it. You don't have to be sucked into this world of hate and anger and negativity. You could just don't do it. I used to sometimes get involved in these things, like thinking I'm doing the right thing. People would be talking about like a Torah subject that has some kind of controversy to it, right? So I'd be like, oh, well, I got to say something, right? I'm just saying it never works out well. Because if you start into such an argument and everyone already has their mind made up and you start fighting and saying, but you're wrong because of this, you're wrong because of that, you're going to waste like hours of your life. And people are just going to be more strong in their positions against each other. What if you just didn't say anything? And instead, you did something nice. Maybe you talked to Hashem a little bit. Maybe you went and, gave your children or your husband or wife or friend or parent a hug instead. Right? What if you learned a little Rabbi Nachman, called someone on the phone and said, hey, you know what? I was just thinking about you. How you doing? What's going on in your life? Maybe you could just share some good news with somebody. I'm just saying, you could spend hours typing and fighting on the internet. You could do it in real time, face to face with somebody, or maybe nowadays on Zoom with somebody, right? Is it so important? Do we really have to say all those things? What if we made an effort? What if we listened to the words of Rabbi Nachman and we made an effort to avoid machlokes and anger and hate, and we made an effort to be a good, peaceful person and to try to help people and to try to make people feel good? I know it sounds like very idyllic, and maybe it sounds like I'm a dreamer, but I feel personally that to a large extent I've done this in my life, and it's a huge important step for me personally, and I think that it's something we can all learn from, because the whole world is filled with machlokes right now, everywhere you look, right? All the words are fear and anger and then every day for some reason they want to keep telling us how many people are getting a disease and how many people are dying. Every single day, the numbers over and over again. Like, enough already with negativity, right? And two people can hold the exact same view and the exact opposite view and hold that they are 100,000% right. And one person can be pro-vaccine and have all the science and everything and say, look, it's obvious. What are you talking about? Another person can say, I did all my research and no, it's killing everybody. And they both 100% believe their things. There's no way they're going to agree to each other. So why are we creating this? There's so many good things we could do with that time. That's my rant. Thank you very much. Any comments or questions or anything?
So, Rabbi, I have one question.
Yeah, Alan.
When you mentioned when the Mashiach comes that there will be no more merchants.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I'd never heard that comment before.
Yeah.
Is that meant to be something in terms of an emotional thing? In terms of there isn't going to be any more fighting over arguments over business or what's right, etc. Or is it meant to be literally that we're not going to have business in the world? It's that we're all going to be just praying to Hashem? Or can you clarify what was meant by that?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know exactly how it's going to look. However, I assume that from the various things that we see in the Chazal, that there's not going to be a need, like there's not going to be a need for this type of existence. Meaning, there will be the desire for everybody to be provided for, and our life will be avodas Hashem. Our life will be, we'll see the truth of everything in existence, and we won't need to be amassing wealth, because we'll all be living with absolute peace and absolute harmony, and everyone will not. In other words, you won't have an ego that I need more. I need. Right? It's in a sense. Please don't tell anyone that I'm a communist, because I'm not. But in a sense, it's sort of almost like the ideal version of communism. Where everybody just loves each other, cares about each other, and everyone's provided for. No one has to have a business, because we just work together and everyone gets what they got, because the truth is so clear. It doesn't work now. It won't work now. But after Mashiach comes, when there's this revelation of divine knowledge in the world, and everything is clear, right? And we see Hashem in the world, and we see our purpose in the world, right? There's a different vision and a different perspective where we won't need those mechanisms anymore. That's my personal understanding of it. I might be wrong though. Anything else, Chevra? No? Okay. Everybody have an amazing, awesome week. Once again, Mazel Tov. Oh yeah. Tovi, do you want to say something? You got to unmute.
Yeah, hi. So the thing has really been bothering me right now, and I have a question.
Yeah.
It's just about trying to have a connection with Hashem, and it's really, and you always make an effort and say, I'm going to have inner peace, and I'm going to try so hard, and I do. But I feel like some people, and I know I'm supposed to bring peace, and that's what Rabbi Nachman is saying, that's what you're saying, that's what everyone is saying, but it's really, really a challenge when some people really, sometimes you feel really good, and then certain people you speak to, they very much, they very much oppose everything, and they're very realists, and I start to say, when COVID ends, one rabbi in Israel told me the world's going to be a different place, and then one of my family members said, said to me, no, it's not going to be a different, I doubt that. I'm like, why are you so pessimistic? And she's like, well, I'm not a pessimistic person. I said, you've always been that way. And she said, I'm a realist. And then it gets to me, and then my whole energy is affected by this. And then I forget everything I've learned, and then I just, I can't, it's some people just don't want to hear it. And
Right.
you try, and then you get upset because you can't help them. And they or maybe you are helping them, but, it's very hard.
Right. I saw, you guys know who Gedalia Fenster is? He gives classes from Miami. He's a cool guy. He knows a lot of Breslov Torah. But he has one class on how to deal with difficult people, by the way. That's the title of his class, How to Deal with Difficult People. So maybe we should listen to that. But I'll tell you what I really think is the answer to this. And it's not a quick fix. But it's what Rabbi Nachman told us over here, that the first step is that we have to have inner peace, and our own relationship to peace and honor has to be betikun first, has to be fixed. Because, like we said, as soon as you start talking to someone and that conversation turns into people reacting to each other, and one person saying something that upsets the other person and causes them to have an emotional reaction, that's already our own personal honor fighting back and feeling like I've been challenged and I've been knocked down a step. And the fixing of our own honor is the only way we'll be able to be in such a situation and to say, okay, that's what you think, all right. Yeah, I disagree, but no problem, right? The fact that we have to fight back is because something is hurt inside of us by what this person said. Something's challenged, something's being knocked down. And when I have to respond, right? And just so, by the way, just so you don't think that I'm talking to anyone in particular, I was speaking to someone today. I was speaking to a rabbi today, a friend of mine, who's going through difficult times. We're talking about this concept. And this is something that a beautiful Torah by the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov says on the pasuk, Shivisi Hashem lenegdei samed. That means that the regular translation of this pasuk is, I place Hashem before me always, right? But on a deeper level, Shiviti means like lahashvot, to be equal. It means the concept of equanimity, that whatever is going on around me, I am equal, because I know that Hashem is running everything. I know that everything that's happening to me is a message from Hashem. So therefore, whatever's happening around me, it doesn't change my own personal existence. Right? It's called in another modern way, mental point of origin. I always have my own mental point of origin. I'm always me, and whatever someone else says and attacks me with, or whatever they do, it doesn't pull me out of my state of emunah and existence. So Tovid is asking a good question, but it doesn't always go that way. Right? And this rabbi, who is a holy person, was telling me about his struggle with this. And one of the things that I mentioned to him that I believe is very important is that this is a process. The main first step is to be aware of what's happening. When I start to be talking to someone and I start to react and fight back with them and challenge what's going on between us, I have to be aware something is happening right now. Right? So it's going to happen to us all this week probably now that we're talking about it, right? We're going to be in such a situation and we're going to feel attacked. We're going to feel like our honor is being challenged and we're going to start fighting back. So when we have that, the first step is to be aware this is happening right now. Oh, it's happening. We just talked about it in the Likutei Moharan. I knew this was going to happen and here I am. And now I'm starting to fight back. And now because I'm fighting back, the other person's fighting back. It's both of our honors are fighting up against each other, right? If I'm aware of what's happening, Tovit, then I can say, you know what? You have an opinion that's different from me? That's fine. I'm still me. I still have my own personal existence. I have my own emunah. And I'm not threatened or hurt by what you're saying. It's okay. Be who you want to be. We should be happy with what that other person has to say. And if we think that if we keep talking to them, it's going to get worse and worse, like I said, don't go there. Just stop and enjoy a peaceful existence with this person. Because if we keep fighting, it's going to be painful. It's going to be yucky. And likely, most of the time, people don't really give in to each other when we're talking about things like this that are self-made beliefs, right? Things to do with COVID are a good example. Most of the time, people won't change their mind. Because the people who are, just to use one situation, the people who are pro-vax feel that they have all the scientific information. People who are anti-vax feel that they've done all the research and they have all the information. And your information is wrong. No, your information is wrong. No one is getting out of this argument. Right? So if we keep going, it's gonna go down the tubes. So the main advice is to start. The first step is to recognize when we're getting into a situation where I'm reacting in an emotional way to this discussion. And at that point, turn it off. Turn off the reaction and say, I'm okay. I don't have to have this discussion. You hear? Am I making sense? Yes, no?
I have a question as well.
Okay.
If that's okay. So you were talking about earlier Masao Matan, arguing in modern Hebrew or discussion or a back and forth, and you also related it to business and business being a lack of shalom.
Right.
And I was wondering, everybody is kind of in a state, in a seller and a buyer are kind of in a state of each one is in a state of disequilibrium, and when the seller sells to the buyer, they're not actually creating any equilibrium. You're saying, right? You're saying that doesn't exist. So wouldn't it encourage a person not to engage in business in general. I mean, wouldn't it be a better idea in this world not to be a person who has to buy or sell something, rather to get a job with someone else? I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious because it just seems to me like that there are so many people, especially in our community, who are business owners and people who choose to be in business because they can't actually, it's hard to earn a living for oneself and one's family when you're working for someone else.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Can you speak to that for a moment?
Maybe I can try.
Why would we get a job rather than starting our own business, for instance?
Right. So I don't think that these concepts end at working in what we call business and don't exist if you're employed by someone, for example. In other words, this is like a symptom. This thing that we're talking about, maso matan, is like the prime example of, or a very good example of this. It's like a symptom of this problem of a lack of peace. Meaning that when you go into another job, it doesn't have to be that you're just a business owner. You know, whatever you're doing as a job that you're going to be making money in, you're always going to be experiencing this. You know, your employer is going to want to spend as little money as possible and still make his employees feel good about what they're doing, right? And the employee is always going to want to be making as much money as possible. There's still going to be that same back and forth. If you're in service, you're going to have the same thing. You're going to be, you know, has anyone here ever worked in service in retail or in restaurants? How equal does that feel? Right? How terrible can people be when they come into a restaurant or they come into a store to the poor people who are working there?
Well, I was a bellhop at a hotel, one of my first jobs, and sometimes people wouldn't give me a tip when I was carrying their bags.
Right.
And, of course, I earned a very low salary of any, or low hourly wage because there was an assumption that I was going to get tips, right?
So the same thing exists there, and also in like regular service, if you walk into a clothing store, sometimes you can have nice customers, but sometimes you can have customers that are just so demanding and entitled, and there's a sense of that same interplay. So I don't believe that the answer is to not be in business, because I believe that it's just the representation of what the real problem is, and it exists all over the place. And the tikkun for it is the way that we make our own tikkun now today, in our own shalom, and in the shalom that we can do with our interactions. And the ultimate tikkun is when Hashem reveals His essence into the world when Mashiach comes, and we have a total different view of the world. Then it's all gone. Then we only have shalom. Steinberg. Any other comments?
Is there going to be a shiur next week?
Mirz Hashem, yeah. I think we might look into some Breslov Pesach Torah next week.
That would be a feast.
Yes. So everybody.
That would be a feast.
Everybody have an amazing, amazing week. So happy to see everybody. Love you guys, and we'll speak again, Bezos Hashem, next Wednesday.